Hello, my name is Jonny Woo, and I'm here in London, in Hackney. And this year I have decided that I want to join the group of people who are reacting to the songs that are coming up in Eurovision 2020 and reacting, discussing, joining in conversation and things like that. I really got into watching the reaction videos of various people, so a big shout out to the team at the Wee Wee Blogs. I watch all of yours. I think it's Alessia Michelle, the American woman. There's another British woman I watch. I kind of got into Jake's Face Reacts. He's an American guy. Andy from London, and then there's a guy called Matt. I can't remember what his site is. But anyway, there's a whole bunch of people who I really enjoy kind of watching. And yeah, so I kind of loved Eurovision in the 80s, and when the UK was good, in the far less countries, and the UK was actually good. And I first got into it when Bucks Fizz won, of course, because I'm a little older than my looks might say. I don't know how old you think I am. Anyway, so I was really obsessed with Bucks Fizz when they won with Making Your Mind Up, and I used to watch it religiously throughout the whole of the 80s. And I used to get so excited about I don't like you standing there. That's like really weird. Looks like you're really watching me.
I'm busy myself with the pizza.
Busy yourself with the pizza. And I used to watch it throughout the 80s, and we used to come very close to winning the UK. And I used to have to either turn the TV off during the voting or go into another room because the excitement was too much. And I used to love the obviously the voting in the French and the English when they did the entire scoring in the two languages. I think that was one of the highlights. Terry Wogan's commentary, obviously. And do you know, I've always actually really loved Eurovision music. When people say kind of what kind of music are you into, yeah, I love Eurovision music. I don't know. I think it's a definite genre. It's a definite style. It kind of lives in its own bubble. It lives in its own kind of era almost. You know, sometimes it's definitely not a style of music that's ahead of the curve. If anything, it can be playing catch up, but whatever. I love it. I'll be listening to Eurovision throughout the year. And so that was the 80s, and then I was still kind of watching it in the 90s. But I will be honest, the disco dance drug ecstasy entered my life, and so there weren't many Saturdays that I was at home, and so my taste in music definitely went off in a different direction. And I was in nightclubs for the next 20 years. I kind of started getting back into it again in the 2000s, but I kind of feel like the 2000s for me are a little bit of the dark ages of Eurovision. I just kind of think, I wasn't a big fan of telephone voting on its own. I think on its own, I don't think telephone voting is the best idea. I don't actually always think the general public have the right answers. And I think sometimes you need juries, and then I don't think the juries have the right answers. So I do think the combination of the two, and then obviously they kind of went back to having the dual jury system sometime after 2010. Was it? I can't remember. And so then I kind of got back into it over the past decade, and of course, EUPHORRRRRIA winning, Sweden, Loreen, in 2012, I think literally dragged Eurovision kicking and screaming into the 21st century. And I think it was a pivotal moment in the sort of history of Eurovision music. And since then, my friend actually got me really into the online stuff, the kind of like the forums and the chats, maybe a few years ago. And I've also gone back and really kind of watched the past few decades. 2013, I think, was a vintage year for Eurovision. So many songs I love. I love Belgium. I love Italy in that one. I can remember Norway was fantastic. I think I quite like Ukraine as well, that kind of weird Gravity song. And then 2015, I thought was another major year. And I have a bar called The Glory, I don't know if you know it, in London, an LGBTQI plus bar, performance bar, and we show it every year. And I think 2014 was the first year, which is when Conchita Wurst won. And of course, there was all the controversy over the Russian politics involving, queer people. And so I can remember Russia was kind of like running up second or something. So it all got very political. That's a whole another conversation. But it was definitely a moment. 2015. Another vintage year, fantastic year. I think the year where I really blew my socks off was 2016. I think the staging was just so fantastic, so immense. So that's Sweden. They really know how to put on a show. And I can remember that was the first time Australia came in. And, I think the spectacle, the music was really on that year. So the past few years have been, I love it. I love the spectacle. I genuinely love the music. I love the drama. I love the build-up. So that's it. I could whisper on aimlessly about nothing really as to why I like Eurovision. I'm just introducing myself. If you want to know who I am, I'm a performer. I go by the name of Jonny Woo. My full name is Jonathan Worcester, so it's an abbreviation of my actual name. I've been called that since I was 16. I co-own a bar called The Glory. I do drag, so maybe one of these I'll be doing in a little look. But for most of them, I'm going to be doing casuale at my home, like with my textured wall throw from the beautiful James door. You'll be seeing a lot of this. So that's it. I don't know if there's much else to say. I just wanted to say hi, introduce myself to the online Eurovision family, and I'm really hoping to be going there this year. I went in 2011 to Düsseldorf, which I actually don't think was a vintage year for Eurovision. As I say, I think the turning point was in 2012, and I think after that everything got a lot better. So that's what I think. I've got lots of opinions on different countries and all that kind of stuff. I might pick up some separate countries. I think I'll definitely have to do one about the UK and my opinions on that. And that's it. I'm really looking forward to this year. The songs have started dropping. I'm going to start reacting. I've never done it before. So let's see how that goes. I hope to give you some honest opinions. Although sometimes my honest opinions, sometimes you just hate them. But you don't want to say that. But you might think it. I don't know, maybe I will say it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Keep watching. Keep an eye out for the rest of the videos. And let's have fun in Rotterdam.